Welcome to Chesland.
According to the Chi tribe elders, long ago when only jaguars with all blue coats roamed the earth, there was a huge fight. This fight was even worse than their other constant fights, and each jaguar fought all the time without mercy. The only jaguar who objected and always tried to stop the mindless fighting was a large, deep blue jaguar named Chi. This gruesome fight led to Chi, the leader of the pack, to fall down the volcano. As Chi fell into the burning magma, his body charred, and he began to die. However, the great volcano's power recognized Chi's unique, kind, ambitious spirit and decided to save him. As a result, Chi rose from the volcano and was granted infinite power. From then on, Chi was forever known as Jesus, and his old blue coat had been transformed into black by the heat of the volcano. He used molten lava to shape the land and form mountains and valleys. When he had finished, he called upon a great rain that filled the oceans, lakes, and rivers up to the level that they are today. This act also supposedly created the Kraken. My apologies. The Kraken. A creature said to resemble a great octopus. When the molten lava met along the seashore's waterline, it hardened the harsh new waves to the twisted legs of the Kraken. Jesus told the other jaguars of the error in their violent ways and colored each of their coats black to remember their ancestors of his divine teachings, yet left stripes of blue on their fur to still remind them of the misguided pain and unhappiness they experienced before learning from Jesus. The Chi now believe in being peaceful and only taking what they really need from the land. Every time they use a part of the land, they say a silent thank you to Jesus.
The Chi learned to survive by catching fish and octopus in the river, hunting cheer in the forest by the village, shooting down flying chales, and hunting other animals found in Chesland, except jaguars, which they never hunt unless absolutely necessary to survive out of respect for Jesus. There are cherries in some bushes and some edible roots as well. It was said that when the first people were created by Jesus, he taught them how to live by themselves. These hunting, farming, and fishing practices have been passed down through generations so that future people could survive. Every year, during the beginning of spring, they thank Jesus by throwing a valued possession down the nearby great volcano which Jesus rose from. The more treasure the possession, the more good luck will come. According to the legend, Jesus is consoled by this practice because it means that villagers are remembering him and his lessons to the people. A popular offering to the volcano is the Chi's most celebrated food, cheese. This is also to make sure Jesus keeps the volcano asleep. Stories of when the tribe were unkind and disappointed Jesus have been passed down. It is said when they went to war with the island tribe, Choga, simply because the tribe did not also worship Jesus, that the volcano erupted, causing many deaths in the Chi's home.
Jesus has an arch-rival named the Kraken. Jesus controls the land and the Kraken controls the violent waters. If one disobeys Jesus, the Kraken has been known to take them and drag them into the depths of the deep ocean. Supposedly, the lonely Kraken is looking for like-minded people unhappy with Jesus to join him and live in the murky deep. However, the Chi say that the Kraken's victim drowned each time before reaching the Kraken's seafloor palace. The Kraken's hate for Jesus runs deep, and there are many variations of stories attempting to explain the Kraken's aversion to Jesus in Chi culture. In contrast, the tribe Choga makes offerings and sympathizes with the mistreated Kraken. The Choga think of Jesus as a fiery beast bent on causing eruptions and deceiving people. Unsurprisingly, these differences in belief caused a lot of tension and disagreements between the Chi and Choga tribe.
Houses in the Chi village are fashioned out of the abundant rock types found in the area. Roofs are made from the carnivorous trees or charnivorous trees, which they carefully cut down for firewood or other useful tools. The chief's house is always made from black volcanic rock out of respect for Jesus. The chief's sacred color is black and represents the power of the great volcano and the color of Jesus' charred coat. The Chi tribe also always has a black tent structure carefully decorated with their most beautiful embellishments in the center of their village. The tent's fabric is in reality made out of chadir hide, painstakingly dyed black with lava rock, and dust and charcoal. The tent reminds villagers of Jesus every day, and on special occasions, the Chi talk, celebrate, and tell origin stories around the structure. Usually on those days, they set up multiple fires around the tent to create heat. Temperatures are always very cold in Chesland. Despite these harsh temperatures, there is plentiful rainfall, or, in most seasons, snowfall. The rain supports many species of plants that have adapted to the cold. As a result, the Chi use lots of firewood to keep warm and to build structures and tools.
If European explorers were to arrive at the shore in Chesland, the Chi tribe would greet them kindly with food and jewelry, unless they thought they meant harm. This is partially because they are kind and accepting of new people, like Jesus, and partially because they don't want a volcano to erupt if they are unjustly unkind. If the explorers were violent, the Chi tribe would defend themselves, but only in the most dire situation would they fight. On the other hand, if the explorers were friendly, then the Chi people would happily trade with them and let the explorers stay by their village. The tree would love any opportunity to share Jesus' wisdom before the Choga tribe deludes them with their alternate belief about Jesus and the Kraken. The Chi tribe chose to live around this area because the topography of it was very fitting for their lifestyle. It is very close to sea level and a river, so they can fish and hunt octopus. They are also near mountains and volcanoes, which provide protection from the elements and also are good places to hunt. The river that they live by is fresh water, and the ocean that they live by is salt water, and so a variety of species can be found there. There are many different plant and animal species that live in the many different habitats, such as the mountains, the forests, the rivers, the oceans, and the islands. There are volcanoes, a shield volcano, and a composite volcano. The Chi people believe that their god Jesus will keep the volcano dormant if they are kind to the spirits and each other. If they are violent and unkind, Jesus will release the lava as a punishment. Landslides and earthquakes will also happen around this area, and they have stories for these as well.
In Chi society, the only person with a very significantly higher social standing is the chief, who is thought to have the blood of Jesus running in his bloodline. New chiefs are chosen once the old chief passes on. Any one of the chief's descendants is elected to take on the position of chief, and gender is irrelevant so long as whoever is chosen still has the blood of Jesus. People in the Chi village all have different roles, such as hunters, cooks, tailors, food gatherers, woodcutters, and more. It is common for each person in the tribe to have more than one job they are capable of completing. From a young age, children learn how to complete these jobs and choose particular jobs they would like to become specialists in.
Long before Chesland was its current state, it was once one supercontinent. This is because of the continental drift theory. The theory suggests that the continents have not always been in their current positions and have drifted apart over millions and millions of years. They were once one supercontinent called Pangaea. Pan as in all, Chia as in Chesland, the planets.
The plate tectonic theory is the theory that the lithosphere is broken up into large plates that move and slide across the less dense upper mantle and lower mantle. They rejoin and move together, and this motion creates the unifying theory of geology, the plate tectonic theory.
Magnetic reversal is the process in which Earth's magnetic field, over thousands of years, completely reverses its direction. In Chesland, this also applies, but it's Chesland's magnetic field. Currently in Chesland, south is what our north would be on Earth. It recently switched, maybe 100,000 years ago, or no, maybe sooner. We're not sure, but it, like Earth, switches over durations of time, depending on the movement of rocks in the planet.
Underneath Chesland, there are 4 distinct layers: the inner core, outer core, mantle, and the crust. The inner core is the solid core in the middle of the Earth, or Chesland planet. And the outer core is liquid. The lower mantle is a toothpaste kind of magma layer. Upper mantle is mainly solid, and the crust is solid.
The inner core is the hottest part of the core, and it gets less hot as it goes up into the Earth. Well, Chesland planet. The continental plate on here is underneath land, and it is thicker than the oceanic plates found under the ocean, but it's not as dense.
There is the asthenosphere and lithosphere. The lithosphere is the crust and the upper mantle, and then the asthenosphere is the upper mantle and parts of the lower mantle. And mantle convection is when less dense material floats up to the top, cools down, and then sinks again, and that's when the theories for the tectonic plate theory, where they move. And here is the oceanic continental plate convergence. So the oceanic plate is more dense, so it is pushed under, and since the oceanic plate is more, it melts, and then the water will melt and then go into the magma chamber. And then we have this one.
As you can see on here, these are 2 separate plates of continental plates, and they're diverging right now, and
So
it's a
that
divergent plate boundary.
That means they are splitting apart,
Yes. Okay.
and that causes the ridge push.
Yes, and also above, right here, there's a rift valley, and it's currently having a rift eruption. It's because of these 2 plates, as you can see underneath.
Here is where 2 continental plates meet. So when 2 continental plates meet, they cause a continental plate convergence. So unlike the other convergences, a continental plate convergence does not subduct, as both continental plates have similar densities. So because they do not subduct, they create mountain ranges, like this one right here.
And right here we have a transform boundary, and this is when one plate is moving this way and the other one is moving this way. And this, as you can see, goes up onto the river, and it just kind of continues down over there.
It moves like this.
Yes. Okay, so here we have earthquakes. This is a shallow focus earthquake where the focus is higher up in the mantle, and this is a deep focus earthquake where the focus is lower down in the mantle. The epicenter is the place on the Earth's surface directly above the focus of the earthquake. And when an earthquake happens, it releases 3 different kinds of waves.
Yeah, and so the first wave is called the pre-wave, but is known as the primary wave. So this primary wave, it travels through solids, liquids, and gases, and when it travels across the ground, it causes its direction to stretch and squeeze throughout so the direction stretches and squeezes through its motion. And the second type of wave, which travels a little bit slower than the P wave, is called the S wave. So the S wave stands for a secondary wave, and it travels perpendicular to the
Direction of travel.
direction of travel. And the last wave, which is the slowest out of the three waves and is not a body wave, is called a surface wave. So a surface wave ripples through Earth's surface and it stops when it hits water or liquids.
So here we have slab pull, and this is the force that's created when the oceanic crust gets pulled underneath the continental crust, and that's just part of subduction and how the plates move together. Alright, so now here we have a composite volcano, and this is what is created when the oceanic plate subducts underneath the continental plate. And when you can see there was ocean here, and there's also a plate that goes under, and this forces up the land on the continental crust to push it into the cone shape that it is. And also forming the cone shape is layers of molten ash and rock from the eruptions over the years of the volcano's life.
Another type of volcano is a shield volcano. So shield volcanoes are broad, low-profile volcanoes that are made almost completely out of liquid lava flows. So basically thinner lava. So as you can see, it looks like a warrior shield on the ground, so kind of like a flat volcano. And they're actually largest volcanoes on Earth. They do not occur at plate boundaries, but instead form at hotspots. As you can see right here, a hotspot. And they're often less explosive than composite volcanoes, which are these ones, which are much bigger and cone-sized, and they usually happen at ocean basins. So these are shield volcanoes.
As you can see here, these are both oceanic plates. However, one is denser than the other, and so one of them will slide under the other and then form a subduction zone. The subduction zone also forms a trench, which is right here. And so if it was underwater, you could see that it's quite deep. And these two ocean plates, when they're pressing against each other like this, it's called oceanic plate convergence.
Right here we have two diverging oceanic plates, and when this happens it forms a spreading ridge. And when this happens, magma comes from the mantle and rises up and spreads the two plates farther and farther apart. And this creates new land, which then hardens and gets pushed away again by new magma. It's a cycle that keeps on going. And you can see here it kind of gets thicker as it goes farther away from the ridge, and this is just sediment being created, so the new sediment would be on top and the old sediment would be at the bottom. So now here we're going to go to rift valleys, and this is when two continental plates are diverging from each other. It leaves a kind of a dip in the Earth's surface where magma and things tend to rise up, just similar as the oceanic spreading ridge. And when sometimes there is rift eruptions, which is when enormous amounts of magma gets spilled out from the cracks in the rift valley.
So the last type of volcanoes are called rift eruptions. Rift eruptions happen when magma erupts through long cracks in the lithosphere. And they happen at spreading ocean ridges or rifts, or in this case, the Rift Valley, in the continental crust. So rift eruptions are like fountains of lava. They're not very explosive or violent, but they can release enormous amounts of lava. So moving on here, we have two different volcanic islands. So this is called a volcanic island arc. So they're just a chain of separate volcanic islands, as you can see. And on this side, we have the volcanic belt, which is like a long chain of volcanoes on just one island.
So here is paleoglaciation. The extent of paleoglaciation is the extent of ancient glaciers, also the rock markings they have left behind. So they would have markings left after the glacier had melted. And over here, we have an extra, which is a drop in the ocean floor. Here's the coast, the continental shelf, continental slope, and the continental rise.